So from civil services as a career option, let us move to entrepreneurship as a career option. The wave has already started in India. We are seeing many unicorns coming up, including Big Basket. Byju's is next in the wave and next in the line. And post-COVID, there is a lot of better ecosystem, much better ecosystem, much more support that is going to be provided for entrepreneurship. So let us look, when is the right time to take entrepreneurship as a career option. Being myself an entrepreneur for last 12 years, I would be leading this session. And we will look into what does a calculated entrepreneurship mean? When you are actually a risk taker entrepreneur, but with understanding of that, how can you make your venture successful? So quickly, we all have exposure to entrepreneurship in one form or the other. And this could be of second-hand experience, looking at your family business, or looking at the business of relatives or friends around. A college student gets exposed to entrepreneurship through the entrepreneurship cell in the college. Media is talking a lot about entrepreneurship. And then the ecosystem, through government support, through corporate support, a lot of ecosystem is being developed to promote and support entrepreneurship. So when someone says that I want to now look at entrepreneurship as my career choice, what could be the different thought processes? Now, it could be that I have seen it, I can do it. There are a group of friends and then they say, let's try a venture. Then someone has extra savings and someone can say, okay, let me try to start my own venture. And someone may have a great idea and believes that the idea will blow the world, and that idea, no one has ever thought of that idea. And that's the time of getting into entrepreneurship. There's funds available in the ecosystem. Could be grants, could be loan from the government pool, where someone says, okay, I have a connection, I can get access to these funds, and so I should start entrepreneurship. Then someone says, I have gained experience, let me get into my own venture. Another someone thinks that, okay, I have savings and experience, so I should get into entrepreneurship. And a combination of experience, savings, and friends could be another possibility that to jump into entrepreneurship. But actually, entrepreneurship is a sum total of experience, savings, friends, passion, perseverance, skills, and customers. Missing of any one element can actually reduce the points of success in venturing out. But when we're looking at the ingredients to entrepreneurship, we first need to answer a bigger question. Why do I want to become an entrepreneur? Is it because I want freedom from my job? Is it because I want to earn a lot of money? That's why I want to become an entrepreneur? Or is there actually a problem that I want to solve? For example, when Google started, they wanted to organize the data of the world, the whole information of the world. That's how Google started. Or Facebook started because it wanted to connect the people in the university. That's how Facebook started. So is there a real problem that someone wants to solve with a lot of passion, zeal, and that's why I want to get into entrepreneurship? And has done has done some amount of market study to say that this is a calculated risk. That's why someone should get into entrepreneurship. So before jumping into entrepreneurship, answering the question why I want to become an entrepreneur is very important. Again, connected to the why is when should one jump into entrepreneurship? Is it sufficient experience is there to look at the problem and to appreciate the problem, to solve the problem? But is it that there's sufficient capital to take the calculated risk? Or is it sufficient understanding of the whole funding environment or the fundraising ecosystem? Yes, we have looked into the ingredients of entrepreneurship. We are now going to look into one specific element and one specific ingredient, which is funding. How or when, from what are the sources of generating funds, and what sources of funds should be used when starting up, and how these sources expand as the business expands. So when we look at the funding sources, we have the internal and the external sources. And in the externals and in the internal sources, we have our own money, one's own money, and then the money provided by the family and the friends. And money provided by the family and the friends, there should be a clear agreement or an understanding whether this money is coming as in the form of a grant, and which has not to be paid back, or it is coming in the form of a loan that at some point of time you have to pay back the money. So if a family member or a friend invest in your business, are they trying to balance if they put their money in an FD, that's the given amount of return they expect, or they are putting in your business and they're expecting at least the same amount of return in their on their money. The other part, the external funds get distributed based on at what stage the business is, how much amount of money is required, what is the risk involved, and what is the return that the investor wants back on his money. So based on this, we have the funding sources at three levels. It starts with seed investors or accelerators or incubators who could even invest money at the POC stage. So just an ideation and proof of concept has to be developed. So this has to be the whole ideation has to be of a solid base, saying that once the product is developed, it will be taken to the market. So that's when the seed investors come in the picture. Once the POC has been developed and certain number of customers are there who are paying and are willing to pay, and there is a pipeline of customers, then the entrepreneur can go to the angel investor. And once the business has been built to a scale and given the revenue as well as the number of customers, the third level of investors are looked into. At each stage, the investor definitely wants the return. And the third set of investors, who are the venture capitalists or the PE funds, would look up to around 40% of their 40% of return that is expected. So as you go to the higher level of investor, you are going to make money only for the investor first, and then the money will come to you. So when we are looking at the funds, how much funds are required, and how we want to estimate the amount of funds required, we look at we need to answer some questions. And the first one being, estimate how long it will take for your business to acquire paying customers. Then look into the expenses, daily expenses that need to be borne by the business. Along with the day-to-day expenses, we need to look into the amount of fixed capital that is required. And then at what time would the business break even? And once the business break evens, then from when would the profit start? So this is a cycle that after the break even of the business, then the business starts making money for the investors. So investors will for sure look into all these aspects, and they want answers to all these questions even before they look at your business plan. or even before they ask for a business plan. So this clarity should also be indicated in the business plan. Now, and the sources of funding, when we look at the seed stage or the angel stage, then we have the prominent ones are the K Start, then the National Entrepreneurship Network, Let's Venture. Then IISc has the MSME department, which provides actually grants to highly product-based and innovative-based startups. Then we have the NASCOM Incubator, then Microsoft Accelerator, Indian Angel Network. IIMS Bangalore has the oldest NSR cell, which supports startups. And then we have the Mumbai Angels. And post the angel investment, we have around 200, approximately 200 venture funds. So this is at the very broader level, we are looked at the funding. But when we're looking at making a business, the most important ingredient of the business is the customer. So you as an entrepreneur, the seed investors, the angel investors, the family and friends as the investors, as well as the venture capitalists would be asking the main ingredient, which is the customer. So to understand, to get connected to the, to know that this is my customer, one has to understand the dynamics of beg, borrow, and steal, which means getting into the shoes of the customer, collaborating, and then understanding competition. So when these three variables are combined, then you are going to make a pipeline of customers. So today the idea was to cover at a broad level the first most important part, that how should I start my business, what is the most important ingredient, and definitely the business requires money. Even to start a business, to register a company, the business requires money. And another point to notice that these external investors invest when the business is organized as a private limited company. They don't invest in a sole proprietorship. So that requires money. And once a private limited company is formed, then it's every year filing of the returns, paying the service tax. So these small things add up to the expenses. So today we covered at a very broad level the funding part of it. And if you have any questions, any thoughts, you may write to me and ask me and probably discuss with me your idea, and we can brainstorm on that together. So next time we will be covering another area, another aspect of entrepreneurship, to know again some of the nitty-gritties. Thank you.